Alright, listen up. I'm Marcus, and today we're diving into some wild history that sounds fake, but it's real, and it only gets darker the longer you stick around. We're starting bad and ending straight up nightmare fuel, so lock in because the past had some seriously messed up jobs for kids. Picture this: Renaissance England, dusty classroom, angry teacher. Your friend messes up a Latin test. And you're chilling, thinking you're safe, right? Wrong. Because instead of hitting your friend, the teacher grabs you and starts swinging like you did something, even though you didn't mess up at all. That's because you're a whipping boy, and yeah, that job is exactly as messed up as it sounds. Maybe even worse than you're imagining right now. A whipping boy was a kid assigned to a prince or noble, whose whole purpose was taking beatings whenever the rich kid acted stupid or failed school. Teachers couldn't touch princes. Future kings were basically untouchable, so they needed someone else to feel the pain when rules got broken. Enter the whipping boy, usually from a poor family nearby, someone with low status, someone nobody powerful felt bad about hitting hard. Back then, people truly believed beatings built character, like pain magically turned kids into good men. So these boys got bruised constantly. And it wasn't just light taps either. We're talking sticks, whips, and punishments that sound like torture devices cooked up out of boredom. One favorite move was forcing the boy to kneel on dry corn cobs, sharp enough to dig into skin, because apparently suffering was a teaching tool. The craziest part is this whole system only worked if the prince actually cared about the whipping boy getting hurt. If the prince didn't care, he wouldn't change his behavior. So the punishment would be pointless, which meant the boys often became close friends. They studied together, trained together, ate together, and basically grew up side by side like brothers, even though one took all the pain. Going from a peasant kid to besties with royalty was a massive upgrade: better food, better education, and skills most kids could only dream about. But that upgrade came with a catch, because every mistake the prince made landed directly on your back, no matter how unfair it felt. So yeah, cool life perks, as long as the prince wasn't dumb, cruel, or constantly getting into trouble, which, let's be real, many were. Now we're sliding into number 4, and trust me, this one makes people physically cringe when they hear it for the first time. If you were a young boy in Europe with a beautiful singing voice, history might have punished you for sounding too good. You could be turned into a castrato, a male singer who was castrated before puberty, so his voice stayed high forever. This started in the 1500s when women were banned from performing, and choirs needed high voices, so society chose violence instead. The solution wasn't training or tech, it was straight-up surgery on children, usually between 8 and 10 years old. Doctors, and I'm using that word loosely, used opium to knock kids out or pressed arteries until they passed out cold. Once unconscious, the operation began, sometimes removing testicles, sometimes twisting them until they died, which is horrifying to even imagine. Recovery took weeks, assuming the kid survived, because some died from overdoses or their hearts stopping during the process. And none of this was legal, so it happened in shady rooms with sketchy surgeons who definitely didn't have real medical training. After that, the boys had to lie forever about why their voices never changed, carrying that secret their entire lives. If they lived, some became huge opera stars, rich and famous, with powerful lungs and voices unlike anyone else on earth. But the lack of testosterone messed up their bodies. Bone growth changed, and they never fully developed like other men. Castrati stayed popular until tastes changed, and imagine being the last one, losing everything, just as the world stopped caring. Now let's move to number 3, which sounds normal at first, until you realize how insane the job actually was. Being a barber's apprentice today means haircuts and fades, but in the Middle Ages, barbers were also surgeons. Yeah, the same guy trimming your beard was also sawing off limbs, pulling teeth, and letting blood like it was nothing. That red stripe on barber poles, it represents blood, because this job was way closer to a butcher than a stylist. Kids as young as 6 became apprentices, helping with surgeries, holding people down, and learning by watching absolute chaos unfold. They started with small stuff like cleaning wounds, then worked up to amputations, no anesthesia, just screaming patients. Imagine being 7 and handed a saw, told to cut off a man's arm while your boss watches and nods calmly. Afterward, you clean the blood, wipe the tools, and get ready for the next patient like nothing happened at all. And that's where we're gonna pause. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, and press the bell icon if you want to dive deeper in history, because it somehow gets worse from here. I'm Marcus, still with you, and if you thought history already crossed the line, trust me, we're only halfway down this messed up road, so brace yourself. Next up is a job that proves even toilets weren't safe back then. And somehow adults decided kids were perfect for handling what nobody else wanted. Today you flush, walk away, and never think twice. But Victorian England turned that simple act into a full-time nightmare career. This job was called a tosher, and their workplace was the massive sewer system running under London like a dark, stinking maze. Toshers searched through human waste for coins, jewelry, buttons, anything valuable someone accidentally flushed during daily life. Flush toilets were new and exciting, so people dropped all kinds of stuff and desperate families saw opportunity in literal filth. And of course, the people sent down there weren't grown men with gear, it was small children from extremely poor households. Kids were used because their bodies fit better in narrow tunnels, letting them crawl where adults simply couldn't go. Many parents sold their children into this work because when you're starving, survival beats morals every single time. The work itself was disgusting. Kids waded through sewage up to their waists, using hands to feel around blindly underwater. But nasty wasn't even the worst part because the sewers were insanely dangerous and unpredictable. Flooding could happen without warning, turning tunnels into death traps where kids drowned before anyone even noticed. The brick tunnels were fragile, sometimes collapsing just from being touched, burying kids alive in darkness. Getting lost was common too, and imagine slowly starving in pitch-black tunnels, surrounded by sewage, rats, and silence. Diseases like cholera and typhoid thrived down there, and constant exposure wrecked their bodies fast. And yeah, the rats deserve their own warning, because London sewers were packed with them. An adult fighting rats is one thing, but a 7-year-old surrounded by biting, scratching rodents is terrifying odds. Shockingly, there was one upside. The pay was decent for the time, about 6 shillings a day. That money helped families survive, but as sanitation improved, toshing slowly disappeared, thankfully taking this nightmare job with it. Now we've reached number 1, and this one didn't just ruin lives. It literally ate people alive from the inside. This job was matchstick dipping, and it mainly targeted young girls because factories wanted small, fast hands. Their job was dipping wooden matchsticks into chemical mixtures that made matches light with a quick strike. Those chemicals included white phosphorus and sulfur, which already sounds sketchy before you even know the effects. Factories were overcrowded, poorly lit, poorly ventilated, and filled with dust, smoke, and chemical vapors nonstop. Machines crushed fingers, ripped hair out, and amputated limbs regularly, while fires and explosions were constant threats. But matchstick dippers faced something far worse than accidents because the chemicals slowly poisoned them. White phosphorus exposure caused breathing problems, skin damage, and a condition called phossy jaw. Phossy jaw started as a toothache. Then the jawbone began rotting inside the mouth. The bone literally decayed, sometimes falling off the face, leaving holes where a jaw should be. Even worse, infected bones glowed green in the dark, like something straight out of a horror movie. Girls suffered unbearable pain, social isolation, and slow death, all for pennies a day. At first, factory owners denied responsibility, blaming hygiene or bad luck instead of the poison. But as more stories came out, public outrage exploded, and people demanded change. Journalists exposed the conditions, doctors confirmed the cause, and society finally paid attention. New safer chemicals were developed, and laws slowly reduced child labor in match factories. It took countless ruined lives before anyone cared enough to stop it. Looking back, it's insane how normal this stuff was treated at the time. Kids weren't protected, they were tools, used until they broke, then replaced. History likes to brag about progress, but it often forgets the bodies left behind. These jobs weren't rare accidents, they were systems built by adults who looked away. So next time someone says the past was simpler or better, remember these kids. Remember the pain, the fear, and the fact that survival came at a brutal cost. If this blew your mind, stick around because history has way more dark truths hiding in plain sight. And yeah, I'm Marcus, and I'll keep digging them up because someone has to tell these stories. Like, subscribe, and share,